What's up, guys? Now, in my previous video, I spoke about, I called out us as men where we are unfair to our women, where where we treat them like shit, and it should be us men who calls other men out. Like, we have to call each other out where we do wrong, and and also we can call out women when they do wrong. One of the most serious problems in our communities affecting our women is the love for pastors. I think that women give pastors way too much credit for things that they didn't even do. I understand. I think sometimes women confuse something being a success to, like, they confuse whether it comes from the pastor or whether it comes from God or somewhere else. Most of the time they just confuse it as it comes from the pastor each and every time, and I know why. Most women, they want approval from pastors, and I'm not talking, listen, if you are a great pastor, I'm not talking about you. There are some other pastors out there who take credit for everything. There are pastors out there. I remember I went to a church in Soshanguve, and that pastor was so quick. He was so quick to push anything that's inappropriate, anything that was like, you know what, if the church says, people keep standing up saying, yeah, pastor did this, he was quick to stand up to say, you know what, no, we have to share this responsibility. That pastor stood up and said, when everyone was thanking him, like, oh pastor, it's your birthday, thank you for 1 2 3, thank you for 1 2 3, he stood up and he said, it cannot be only me, and it cannot be only me and the higher power. Like, some people in your lives, some people in your families, they also need that. They deserve credit for some of those things. I was fucking blown away that a pastor can just, some pastors, they just take everything. Like, pastor, thank you for, like, they just take everything when they never actually did anything. Now, with women, this is one of their weaknesses. Their love for pastors, for women, is a weakness. Okay, it's not anything else. It's a weakness. Women compete for pastors' approval. Why do you think so many pastors, they actually get to sleep with so many women? Because women compete. If Sister Tandy goes into the pastor's office for 10 minutes, the next sister is gonna be jealous of that, wants to go to the pastor's office for 20 minutes, and then Sarah wants to go to the pastor's office for 30 minutes, and the other one wants to go to the pastor's office for 40 minutes. If this sister cooks makwenya for pastor, that one would want to surpass that and bring fat cakes for pastor. The other one would want to bring a pot full of meat for the pastor. That one would want the pastor to go and eat at her fucking house. The other one would bring, like, if this sister gives pastor 10 rand, this one would want to give pastor $100. The other sister would want to give pastor a full tank. It's something that women do in the churches. Like, if this one stands in front of the church and said, you know what, pastor, help me with 1 2 3, the other sisters would want to stand up and say, you know what, now pastor, help me with this bigger. The other one would just want to surpass that, and all of that, the pastor is just sitting there, just receiving all of this grace and glory for doing nothing else. And the sad part about our women is that the way in which they thank these pastors for shit that they even didn't do, it's amazing. I have met a pastor whom, that's why I speak about the pastor I met in Soshanguve, and there's a pastor in Jimiston. These guys, they actually went all out outside the church to help the congregation with whichever business ventures they want to go into. If these ladies, they want to buy houses, the congregation wants to buy houses and get into property, he is at the forefront. He is there catching Taxify to check the property. He is there to help. He is there collecting information from banks to help the ladies, no, not the ladies, the congregation, to get the information about buying property. He is there all the time. That pastor would deserve that credit because he is there. Yet there are some people whom they don't. The pastor I met at Soshanguve, I used to visit this church, and I think it's one of the most amazing churches I've ever been to because of how it tries to improve the lives of the congregation, not just taking in glory. Do you know what this pastor said? One Sunday, this pastor comes in and he's like, you know what, to encourage like all the congregants to study, especially young people to study and further their studies, we need to host a ceremony, a graduation ceremony. So you will have your graduation ceremony wherever you have it, and then from there all of you who studied and then completed whatever the fuck you were studying, you will come to church. We will have a special ceremony again for everyone who has graduated in church, a big ceremony. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this guy, he is trying to motivate, to improve. Like, these are people who should be thanked, not just people who are just sitting there. You give him a phone call and then it's like, yeah, go and study, and then that's it. How about guys who are pastors who are very active? That's why I say Pastor Noah in Jamestown, Poloba, he is out there. If a brother is going to buy a house and doesn't have specific information, someone wants to call. If the pastor, if a congregant wants specific information, the pastor would go out there to the banks and then like get all of the information. Magma Pullover, he would go out there. If you say, Pastor, I'm going to buy a specific house somewhere and I'm not sure, he would take, Taxify or Uber and go to a specific place and actually meet you there to help you. They are very active in doing that. There are pastors who are like that, and yet those pastors are not usually given the credit. Guys who get given the credit are just guys who just like, I'll pray for you, touch your TV, and then from there I'll pray for you, give me money, and then after I give you money, these things will happen, and of which it does not make sense. And the reason for this video is women's love for pastors. Like, it's a pandemic, it's out of control. I'm gonna show you something. There's a family doctor. There are some families who have a doctor, and this doctor has been looking after the family. These doctors, or this specific doctor, has been there for your family, help the wife give birth to all of the kids. Yet when the wife gets to church, she's going to thank the pastor. Like, your doctor was there helping you, like, to look after the health of your whole entire family. And yet when the lady stands up, like, I want to thank the pastor for my family. How? What did he do? Like, one other example is the kids might be playing sports, and then actually the kids might play sports, actually go to the Olympics. When the wife stands up in church, you're like, I would like to thank the pastor for my son. He is going out there, he's doing great things. I would like to thank the pastor for praying. How about you thank the coach who was there, like, who's always there with your child? Your child does not travel overseas alone. Your child is traveling overseas with a coach. How about you thank the person who saw the potential in your child and actually, like, you know what, let me give your child a scholarship? How about you thank those people? And now, like, I'd like to thank the pastor for giving my child a scholarship. No, he didn't do that. I'd like to thank the pastor for taking my child to the UK. No, he didn't. The coach was there to take your child to the UK. It's not the pastor. Some of the ladies, they are going to the gym and then you actually lost weight, but when you get to church, I'd like to thank the pastor that I lost weight. No, it's the personal trainer. It's your training group. It's your training mates. People who were at gym with you. People who usually call you. Like Tabi saying, let's come to gym. Tabi saying, let's go and run. Your siblings, like people who actually helped you to lose weight. Your boyfriend who said, baby, from now on we'll eat veggies alone. Like people who were there. You can't stand up in church and start thinking, I'd like to thank the pastor, I lost weight. No, it's your personal trainer, like people who are there helping you to lose weight. It's not the pastor. Just no, cut it out. Sometimes when times are tough, like you as a friend, you as a brother, you as a colleague, the wife would even come to the colleagues, ask for money from the colleagues, ask for money from the friends. When times are tough, most of the time women don't go to the pastor and like, pastor, give me money for this. They'll go to the pastor for support, not financial support. Pastors don't give money. Pastors take money. Most of the time when women are in tough situations, when you're a lady, you want to go build a shack, you're going to have some of your male friends come in, help you to build a shack. When you're a lady, you want to move. Fuck. Yeah, I had a long phone call, so I don't know where I was. But some of the people who help, like our ladies, our women, and our mothers are their siblings. Like us as your brothers and sisters, sometimes when you are in trouble and like it's the end of the world, it's really, really tough and you're in that hole, you usually call your siblings to help you financially. You usually call your brothers, your sisters, and ask for help. And sometimes, most of the times, when these ladies stand up in church to go and give a testimony, they never speak about their siblings, how their siblings helped them through 1, 2, 3. Like always, it's always again the pastor. The pastor helped me last year, and when I was going through a divorce. Yeah, when you were going through a divorce, you lost your house and your car. Your brother borrowed you a car, so you're actually supposed to thank your brother. Your sister gave you a place to stay with your kids and paid for your kids' school, so you're supposed to thank your sister and your brother. It doesn't make sense that you're going through a divorce, you lost all of your shit. People who helped you financially the rest of last year were your siblings, yet today when you stand up in church, you're like, I would like to thank the pastor. It does not make sense. Some of these people, they deserve credit, and it's going to the wrong people or the wrong person. And another person who usually deserves credit and they never get credit is your boss at work. Listen, there are some bosses who do a lot more than your pastor. There are some bosses who would bring you in when you don't even have the qualifications. After bringing you in, make you go through the proper trainings, like forgive all of your incompetence and causing the company a loss. There's bosses who help you through all of that, encourage you to further your studies, encourage you to and mentor you. There are some bosses at work who mentors our ladies, our mothers and sisters. Yet when our mothers and sisters, when they get a promotion at work, they thank pastor for a prayer he did last year. Like, listen, you can thank God, it's fine, but remember, this is the pastor versus everyone else in your life, and the pastor does the least compared to each and everyone. Like the least. One of the people I have here is lectures at school, at varsity. Some of those guys, they do a lot for your future. They do a lot to encourage you. Like, they do so much. Yet I've one of the ladies who was at that church, she stood up and said, I would like to thank the pastor for making me finish my studies, and then for making, like, that was, what about the guys who were the lecturers who were there for you? Like, what about, like, listen, if you take right now from here to fucking KZN, like, when you come back, you're supposed to say, you know what, I'd like to thank God for the driver, like we took that trip safely, and then for helping that driver so that he doesn't fall asleep. I would like to thank God that he looked after that driver who also looked after us. Some of these guys, they deserve credit, like, and it's sad that they don't. One of the other people, yeah, this one, yeah, that one of the saddest part about women's love for pastors is that the pastor is actually competing with the husband. Actually, the husband is competing with the pastor. There are so many situations where the pastor gets so much and so much credit, gifts, and yet the husband does not get anything. What does the husband do? The husband will pay for school, pay for the fees, pay for the car, the home, will be buying groceries, will be buying the wife clothes so that she looks good for the pastor, would be buying everything to make the wife beautiful. The husband will be paying for the cars, everything. Like, sometimes you find that the wife like is unemployed or she earns less money and the husband is doing everything, the house, the lobola, everything. Yet when Christmas comes, there are more women who buy gifts for the pastor than there are women who buy gifts for their good or great husbands. There are so many women who would make sure that they buy a nice watch for the pastor with the husband's money, and the husband does not even get a gift. There are so many women who would cook something special, like special dishes for the pastor, and yet the husband who buys the food that's in the special dish for the pastor does not get that special dish. Like, we need to calculate this love for pastor, and also even your parents. You know, there are women out there who have given gifts, so many gifts to the pastor, and yet her parents who raised her, who put her to school, who went through all the sacrifices for this lady, who did everything, financial sacrifices, like everything, the support. There are women, there are mothers who were going through rape and torture during apartheid, raising this lady. This lady today, she thanks the pastor that she's the person she is today. No, like, we honestly have to calculate this love that women have for pastors. And most people usually go around and say, you know, pastors have this medication that they take. It can be like that, but I think pastors are the celebrities, and women love celebrities. Our mothers, our daughters, our girls cut themselves for Justin Bieber. Like, it's because like women love celebrities. Like us as men, when we see celebrities, say like, oh yeah, that's Jay-Z, I'll just shake his hands. Hey man, I love your work. Do we give the same respect to Jay-Z that we would give to, you know, a friend who's doing something great, or mechanic who's fixing your car? Would give the same respect. And for me personally, as a man, I honestly look at pastors as other men, like, who deserve credit for what they do, according to what they do. For me, my mechanic deserves a lot more than the pastor does. This is a guy who's fixing my fucking car. Okay, so like, if my daughter is is playing a specific sport, like, her coach who's there when my daughter, like, listen, when I say to my daughter, like, get in the bus with the coach to Cape Town, go and play whatever sport, the person I have to thank is the coach, not the fucking pastor. Like, if my girlfriend is going to give birth in a public hospital, and this is a specific doctor, in a public hospitals people die all the time, especially during childbirth. When my daughter comes back and my girlfriend says I had a smooth experience, I have to go and thank the God and the doctor. I have to go to the doctor and say, listen man, thank you so much. Here's a tip. Like, there are people who actually deserve that money than the pastor. It doesn't make sense that we have pastors who are more rich than doctors who do a great job. We have pastors who are more rich than coaches. like sport coaches of our kids who actually do a lot more. We have like there's so many things that don't make sense. That's why I say, like, when you see pastors sleeping with people's wives, I'm not shocked, because women fight for that. Women fight for pastors' attention to the point whereby women will jump in bed with the pastors. If Sister Tandy did grocery with pastor last week, Sister Maria would want to go into pastor's house. Like, women, and this is something you cannot deny. Women, we just love to give grace, and this, I don't know what it is to pastors. So it's something that needs to slow down, because it's not fair. Your husband does a lot more than your pastor. Your father did and does a lot more than, except in situations where those people are not there, and that's perfectly fine. But there still are other people in your community who deserve a lot more credit than the pastors. It doesn't make sense that, like, you'd be giving pastors this amount of money to the point where a pastor drives a Rolls Royce, and some of the things don't even make sense. A pastor like Bushiri doesn't even know you. How do you even stand there and claim that he's the reason why you are here? The church, there's like 1,000 people. How do you, sitting in the back there, come and say, this guy helped me with 1, 2, 3? He doesn't even know you. Like, some things don't make sense. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and yeah, feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, otherwise, enjoy.